Hello, people of the internet. This is Lee, and today I'm reviewing issue number 1 of a new 4-part miniseries from Image Comics called Graveyard Shift. This is written by Jay Faerber with art by Fran Bueno. Looking at the cover, I actually originally thought it looked a lot like Jay Lee, but it's actually Fran Bueno as well. So I was curious what the interiors would look like. And actually the interior art is different from the cover, but not jarringly. A lot of times I'll look at the cover and I'll have a certain expectation, and then if the interiors are done, usually by a different artist, it can be jarring. It can be really disappointing, and in this case it wasn't. I think it's because it is by the same artist, and so it still had the same feel, the same tones, the same sort of that way. The color feel was very similar. So it worked for me. This book is, I'm not sure if it came out last week or the week before. Honestly, at this point, I've got a huge pile of to-read books that I haven't been able to get to. So, unfortunately, I'm behind, but I appreciate you all hanging in there with me, so thank you. This book is, at first, it's been a while since I've read the synopsis because Previews comes out 2 months before the books do. So I went into it not knowing what the plot was. I didn't pick up anything on the internet and go read about it there. Just picked up the book and went with it. So, it opens up and it looks like it's a cop story. It's like sort of SWAT team. They're breaking down. There's what's definitely, kind of a creepy zombie-ish looking fellow. And that's kind of the end of that scene. The book ends up being about vampires, though. And the book there's a main protagonist and there's his fiance and just how they end up having to relate to vampires. So I don't know if I'm assuming, honestly, that the initial guy was probably a vampire as well, just because it's a 4-issue miniseries. Why convolute things with vampires and zombies unless you're going with the whole, ghoul aspect of not quite turned into... But I don't know. I honestly don't know where Jay Faerber is going to end up going with his mythology. I really always have enjoyed vampires. I enjoyed them long before they became this giant... And you know what? They've always been a pop culture icon. I've been watching Lost Boys since I was basically an infant. So, and that was 1987, I think that came out. And even before that, we've got things from, as long as they've been making film, prior to that, in books, we have Bram Stoker as Dracula. We have, Nosferatu in old movies. Vampire mythology is really just as old as people have been telling stories. So I can't even say, I liked vampires before they were cool, because they've always been cool. I cannot out-hipster vampires. So, owning up to that right now, I don't get to win this argument. But anywho, I've liked them and been intrigued by them for most of my life. Being the kid who grew up when I did, watching terrible bad movies that I shouldn't have been allowed to watch, I just really like dark things. So I'm curious where Jay Faerber is going to end up taking this. I have to keep referencing his name because I'm going to say Farber when it's Faerber. And as we all know, I'm terrible at names. Someday maybe I'll improve. Not today. But anywho, yeah. So, not doing the greatest job of staying on topic either. It's because I'm tired. But I'm powering through. So, we have our protagonist, we have his fiance, who's pretty and blonde, and the thing that really stood out to me with the art, and I'm going to show you a couple of panels, so I don't know how well you'll be able to see them, is the artist uses, in most of the pages, larger panels than typical. Not usually this big. This is just an example here. But there's just a lot of detail. There's detail in the books. There's detail in the brick back there, in the staircase right there, in the fact that the layout matches so you can see when we're turning from one perspective to another. And it's just an attention to detail that you don't often see. I thought that that was just really impressive. I also like the artist Fran Bueno's use of color just through the book. It's a really good looking book. So for that reason, I suggest picking it up. I mean, like vampires, if you don't like vampires, you're not going to care whether or not you like the art, but the art right now is really carrying the story for me, since we don't have much in the way of background, either with our characters or with the mythology we're dealing with the vampires. But another example of the pages, just really good looking art, definitely something that I am going to continue reading just to see how it turns out. Something also that's going to be available as a complete edition with a trade paperback in a few months if it's something that you're curious about but not curious enough to go spend the $3.50 an issue on. Wait until it costs $10 for all 4 issues in a volume. But either way, if you like art, if you like vampires, if you just like reading something that's a little different than the typical superhero story, just go ahead and give it a shot. I definitely recommend it in that. That's really all I've got for now. So that's my review of Graveyard Shift from Image Comics. Please let me know if there's anything else you would like me to read in the comments. I do read those and try to respond to them. Sometimes not timely, but again, sometimes I'm just whatever. And if you can like and subscribe to my channel, I always appreciate that. So thanks. Bye.